In the words of Kirby Smart, it's time to fucking go. Welcome into the DGD Podcast. As always, Robert Reynolds, Kobe Pierce, Keon will be with us shortly. Walla, what is going on? Jeff in the building. Dan Beast Media in the building. Welcome into the brigade, folks. First things first, make sure to like and follow, right? Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, right? Hit us up on YouTube. And obviously, if you're listening on podcast, make sure to leave us a review, guys. 5 stars, preferably, right? Like what Georgia lands all the time would be ideal. But let us know how you feel about it. Oh, my word. It's Mizzou week. I'm just going to leave this here. It's weird because in a normal year, it feels like this game doesn't matter too much. But this game's probably, to this point, the most important game. How do you feel about that, Kobe?
Yeah, I think no doubt. I think that, this feels like 2012, 2013. Like this game, for all intents and purposes, is for the East. You win and you control your own destiny. And if they win, they control their own destiny. So it's a big one for sure. I mean, it has a lot of playoff implications, SEC implications. I mean, it's not one you can drop because I don't think even if you win out after there, if you're 11-1 and runner up in the East, I don't think that's good enough this year.
Not this year. Guys, we're going to be talking about, right, obviously the matchup. We're going to be previewing this matchup with Missouri this week, 3:30 on CBS as well. We're also going to be talking about the rankings that dropped last night, initial CFP rankings dropped. Georgia at number 2 on YouTube left a poll. Let me know if you think they got it right, the committee. We're going to talk about that. And obviously, we're going to do our DGD picks of the week. And also some over-unders that Mr. Hightoff brought in. So another installment of the over-unders. But first things first, man, let's do this, right? You look at Georgia coming off of the Florida win. First game without Brock Bowers. It was a good feel to it. Very good feel to it, right? Come out, dominate that game. I think you're going to have to do the same thing this game. But it's going to be a little bit different how it's handled. I think first things first, Tyke Smith, in my opinion, Kobe, is going to have to play an excellent game. He's going to have an A+ game. He's just got to. Are there any things that stick out to you, right, from overall just this matchup before we break it down? Anything that sticks out to you in regards to this matchup that's going to be important to watch?
Yeah, I think their quarterback, we've come back to Brady Cook, who I think is the most mobile quarterback we've played since Auburn, and Auburn, the mobile quarterback, gave us the most trouble. So I think his ability to extend plays and kind of be, off the script plays out of the pocket, making things happen, and extending plays beyond, their typical 3 to 5 seconds, is something that has given our defense trouble in the past. And I think it's something that we're going to have to control. And, you know, the thing is odds are, like we all know, they're going to score. The big thing I think is to make them score the right way, make them go the distance. Don't allow sudden changes and
Huge
let up a
explosive plays.
yeah, a big explosive 70-yard pass or an interception or fumble. Make them, if they're going to score on you, make them go down the field, make them have a 10-play drive and score on something kind of like Vandy was doing to you there a little bit in the later parts of the game. You can't have those quick hitters. Those are just hard for your defense to adjust to at some point.
Yeah. Well, so let's do this because the brigade is coming in hot and heavy with Georgia being number 2 in the polls. Obviously, Georgia is number 2. But we're going to pull up a graphic to kind of recap what happened last night and the results. So first things first, Ohio State number 1. And we'll discuss this a little bit too, and then we'll jump back into the review, get deeper into that, and let Keon get back in. But Ohio State at number 1, Georgia number 2, Michigan 3, Florida State 4. 5 going at 5 is Washington, Oregon at 6, Texas at 7, Alabama 8, Oklahoma at 9, 10 is Ole Miss. Keep that in mind. Penn State 11, Missouri 12, Louisville 13, LSU 14, Notre Dame 15, Oregon State 16, 17, Tennessee. Obviously, keep that in mind. Obviously, back with Missouri as well. Utah number 18, UCLA 19, USC Trojans at 20, Kansas 21, Oklahoma State 22, 23, Kansas State, Tulane at 24, Air Force rounding out the top 25. Kobe, anything here that you obviously the top 4? How do you think that top 4 shakes out? Do you like the way that looks? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, throw it back up while I talk about it if you don't mind.
Yep, can do.
I think the thing that worries me the most, and I don't think it's a legitimate worry this year if everything goes the way it's supposed to go, but Ohio State at 1 already kind of puts that wonder in my mind of, if they drop the last game of the year to Michigan, are they going to argue that they've been number 1 in the playoff rankings? Obviously, it's the first one. We'll see kind of how they go week to week, how they fluctuate. I'm not sure that Georgia goes on the 3-game tear it goes on. If we maintain being undefeated, I'm not sure there's any argument any team can have over us being number 1 in the country at that point. Some fun ones to just kind of keep an eye on right now. Michigan has to play Penn State this week. That'll be a pretty big matchup for them. Louisville at 13. If you're a Florida State fan, you love that because that gives you, odds are Louisville is going to be your opponent in the ACC championship game. So you're going with Louisville to be as high as possible to kind of keep the ACC in the talks. Notre Dame's in there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Utah not a 3-loss team, though? I thought that was kind of surprising.
No, I think Utah is a 2-loss team. Also, you said Michigan plays Purdue this week.
Oh, they play Penn State next week, then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I just got those weeks
Yep.
mixed up in my head then.
I'll tell you right now, there's 2 things that irked me a little bit on these rankings, and they're more so down below. The fact that Air Force is at 25, I'm not a fan of that. You can argue the strength of schedule there or whatever, but I thought Air Force is playing higher than where they're ranked right now. I really believe that. And to me, I think this needs to be addressed, guys. Needs to be addressed. Keon, welcome in. James Madison is unable to be ranked because of I guess it's a situation showing where the first 2 years coming from FCS to FBS, or at least to the Sun Belt, I believe it is, you can't be conference champion. Like you can't play in a bowl game and shit. And I just find that absolutely absurd. Because James Madison is a top 25 school. What the hell?
It doesn't make any sense because they literally have gone from a lower classification of football to a higher classification of football. So if they're kicking ass at the higher classification of football, how is that their
They were
fault?
good last year. I think they won the conference last year. First year in the conference.
Yeah.
I think they would have played in their conference championship game.
Yeah. I just don't like that rule, and it's really a disservice to that team that comes up to face the challenge, and if you're doing well, you get punished. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, like you said, it shows you why those teams that dominate in a league below, there isn't a huge incentive to all of a sudden make that jump. Like a North Dakota State who's been dominant for 10 years.
Yeah, the Dakotas itself could go into the Big 12 and be fine.
100%.
I mean, that's just my thought. I know it probably won't matter, right? But just think about next year if that would be the case, right? Because James Madison being a Power 5 school or a Group of 5 school, excuse me, right? If they were higher than Tulane, they would be in there, and I think they would be over Tulane. I do. They're undefeated. So to me, that's just I don't like that whatsoever. I'm trying to keep it G-rated here, but I just don't like it. That's just me. Keon, since you're in here, man, and welcome back in, sir. Pull up the graphic again. Let me know what your thoughts are. Did they get it right? And what were your takeaways from the graphic or from the rankings? Excuse me.
So I do agree with Air Force being ranked at 25. I do think that's a little bit crazy. As well as yet again, I mean, I'm just looking at some of these teams. I think they're ranked because of who they have coming up. The fact that we have 2 lost teams above teams that only have 1 loss is kind of crazy to me. But hey, I get it. Strength of schedule. I understand the argument. Not gonna really fight it too much. Oklahoma State at 22. Not necessarily a fan of that. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, they do look pretty decent. Actually,
I think USC Trojans are way too high. I think they should be 24, 25.
Yeah, I think
like
so
where
too.
They are. I do not like where they are.
Yeah, they got to drop. I think actually USC should be 25.
Well, I mean, like I said, I thought Air Force was, and we did our rankings Monday predictions for it, right? I guess the committee seems to be valuing your, they mentioned this, this year only, right? But if that's the case, why the fuck is Michigan at 3? Why are they not 5? Because at least everyone else has had, outside of Georgia had a ranked win, Kentucky. You look at 2 ranked wins for Ohio State. I just think even Florida State, right, winning against LSU, Michigan's schedule is absolute soft as shit. Now again, I think another thing too, though, to keep in mind and to be fair, because this is what's going to happen with us too. There's these next few weeks, shit's going to get serious because, I mean, to Georgia's credit, we've got to play Missouri, which is 12th, Ole Miss top 10, and then 17 at the moment with Tennessee and back to back to back, right? So if we get through this unscathed, no one will be able to say that we didn't earn that shit. But at the same time, go ahead.
They'll try to find a way.
No doubt.
I think throw it back up one more time, and I'll get it out of my system just a little bit more in depth. So, I think a couple things are interesting. Like Florida State, if you're a Florida State fan this weekend, you are keeping your eyes glued to Alabama LSU because you're really hoping LSU pulls that off. If you're a Texas fan, I think you're keeping your eyes glued to that game the other way. I think you're hoping Alabama has as good of a year as they can have because at this point, Florida State should have lost to Clemson, who's now 4-4. They squeezed one out from Boston College. They're hoping Louisville stays hot. Texas and Oklahoma both having a loss kind of hurts both of them pretty badly. I would say to the point where, like, obviously Texas has one of the better wins at Alabama. I would say maybe even better than Washington beating Oregon at Washington at this point. They're just definitely, like you're saying, there are a lot of teams that are ranked the way they're ranked this week because the committee knows that in the next 2 weeks it's going to kind of shake itself out to being a little bit clearer of a picture because there are some
no
teams
doubt.
in here that
Well,
are two-loss teams floating around pretty high.
Now, I do want to say this as well, since we have the graphic pulled up. Oh, my bad. If you could pull the graphic back up. So for the Texas fans, there's a couple of things that they need at this point. Of course, that Ohio State and Michigan game is going to play itself out. But if I'm a Texas fan or I'm an OU fan, there's a couple of things that are on their mind probably. One of them is one, if for Texas and OU, whatever fan base is listening to this, you have to win out. And honestly, your best chance of you getting in is, of course, Georgia winning out, Florida State taking a loss, because at that point, it doesn't matter what happens between Oregon and Washington in the conference championship if they both make it. But at that point, it wouldn't matter. You would still secure a spot.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, right? Like the initial, like they matter, right? Like I heard a lot of people talk about it don't matter to the last one, and that to me that's a load of BS. It really is. All these matter, and ask Florida State if it don't matter. Just my thoughts there.
But like I said, like I've told you before, I think Florida State flirts with disaster like every other weekend. So
yeah. I mean, they don't have a ranked opponent on their schedule remaining unless they play Louisville in the ACC title game. Now they do play Miami and Florida, but
that's a question. You know, you hate to play devil's advocate. If Louisville runs the table from here on out and wins the ACC, I mean, you know, they have a pretty bad loss against Pittsburgh, but they also beat Notre Dame. They will have beaten Florida State. I mean, they're going to have a pretty nice record at, 12-1 as well.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Yeah,
they wouldn't climb the rankings.
But I'm just saying, like he's talking about that initial rankings don't matter. Like Louisville at 12, 13 is probably already too far out at this point today to be able to climb with what's left. Even though they could, I mean, at this point they could go 12-1.
Yeah, I think. I mean, for what it's worth, we'll see what happens. All right, as games continue to play, I mean, things are going to shake itself out, right? Michigan, Ohio State will be playing. Oregon, Washington are more than likely going to play each other again in the Pac-12 title, right? Georgia's still got to play, right? We get it. I mean, things are going to look different, and I'm okay with that. But as it gets closer to right December and that final selection. Things are going to shake up, right? I mean, it could start this week. But with that being said, let's get back into this review. But before we do, let's get into our first sponsor of the night, and that's our guys over at Apotheos, right? Best coffee in the business. I'm going to let you know that right now. It's quite literally the coffee of champions. And also, fun fact, Holiday Java came out today, limited quantity of it. So you need to go to dgdpodcast.com and you need to go to the sponsors and go to Apotheos and start shopping and get you some today because it is absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. Get you some, and also keep in mind that when you go to our website and you shop Apotheos, your order, 20% of every single bag or every single K-Cup that you purchase goes toward the Classic City Collective. They do that for us. And also,
what was the flavor? What was the new flavor?
Holiday Java.
Ooh.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But also keep in mind, use code DGD at checkout and you'll get 30% off that order. Or you can sign up for their newsletter, I think it is, and get 40% first time. But check it out on the website, though, first. I'll leave it there. Follow them on Instagram at Apotheos Roastery, on Twitter /X at Apotheos Coffee. Thank you, Apotheos, for supporting the show. Guys, it's time to break this down. Missouri. Did you see before the season Missouri doing what they're doing right now?
No,
I didn't.
no, not at all.
I did not. Also, by the way, Wallace said that dark roast was fire. I'm thinking he's talking about the Classic City dark roast. Yes, that's my favorite. But just that's personal testimony there.
No, I think
Apotheos Coffee.
Yeah, I definitely think that looking back, they and looking back at their schedule though up to this point, they've played South Dakota, Middle Tennessee, Kansas State, who was ranked and is still ranked, Memphis, Vandy, LSU, Kentucky, and South Carolina. So, they still got a little meat on the bones. It is just one of those things, though, like we've always talked about. In order for some teams to be good in the SEC, other teams have to be bad. The fact that South Carolina is much, much worse than I think any of us expected them to be up to this point definitely doesn't help.
Our preseason predictions show that.
But I mean, Missouri has a gauntlet like we do coming up. They're at Georgia, home against Tennessee, and home against Florida. I mean, those aren't three easy games to kind of finish off the end of the year here.
No, not at all.
They got a decent thing here. They play. My question is do they not play two? Oh, they do. So they got lucky at Arkansas is their last game and their second West opponent. First West opponent's LSU, and LSU handles business pretty well. I thought I watched the Kentucky game. Kentucky handled business pretty well. They just had a plethora of turnovers that really helped Mizzou kind of propel to the score being what it was. I mean, this is a team that played Memphis to 7 points, Kansas State to 3, Middle Tennessee to 4. I mean, this is not a wrecking ball of a team that some people may paint them out to be, I guess, would be my point to that.
Yeah, I think everybody. I'm not discrediting this, so don't get me wrong when I say this. But Luther Burden has went the hell off this season, right? Now, at the same time, Kobe, you went through that schedule. To some degree, those passing defenses are atrocious, right? The key matchup here, my first key matchup, is Tyke Smith against Luther Burden in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
That will be, I think, be a crucial part of this matchup Saturday. Now, at the same time, we talk about Luther Burden, but they also have, Theo Weiss Jr., right, the Oklahoma transfer, which I think is a really good receiver too. And Brady Cook is experienced, guys. He's played Georgia 3 times, so he's used to this to some degree defense, right? So he knows it's good defense. The question is, can he lead the offense too? Right. We figured they're going to score points. I think I'm not worried about scoring points. I'm just worried to make sure that we limit them to scoring less points than we do, obviously, right? I think that's kind of commonplace. But I definitely think Tyke Smith will have his hands full. And I think it's a money game for him against Luther Burden.
Okay.
What about you, Keon? What do you got about this?
Honestly, I'm really focused in on how our defense is locked in throughout this series. I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm looking at Dominic Lovett to go off. I feel like this is going to be his true breakout game. So I'm excited for that. Thank God we have him here. Because we remember how this game was looking for us for the most part of it last year. So I'm really excited to see how the matchup is going to unfold.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I thought about too, right? When we take a look back last year, right, we got kind of torched by
No, we definitely did.
Yeah, I guess I should say definitely did. But Dom Lovett went off, man. He had a really good game, and now he's with us. But at the same time, if there's any Mizzou fans that find the show, don't think we forgot, by the way. Don't think we forgot about your sorry ass offensive lineman trying to take out Jalen Carter, by the way. Don't think we forgot about that. This game's personal because of that.
I wonder if there's going to be like multiple recruits there at this game, because
Ooh.
there's a couple of recruits that we have that we were looking at getting, and so was Missouri. And I just hope that they're paying attention to this game and that they're fully locked in so they can understand, what it's going to look like when Georgia comes to town. And
Yeah, I think I know for sure Georgia's going to have a decent list. It's not the greatest list that we could have possibly had by any means, but I will say that I think you're looking at Terrell Anderson. Right? That's a big time receiver that we're looking at trying to possibly flip. I think he's expected to make it down. Dylan Raiola, Bo Walker, Devin Carter, 2026 receiver. Right, I mean Ethan Barber, Jaden Riddell are coming from Missouri. Juan Gasson is some of these guys are in multiple classes. I think as we get into as we get out of the season, you'll understand what we're talking about these names now. But I mean, it's just a ton of different guys. Zayden Walker, Ellis Robinson, Cam McKell. That's another guy that we're looking at. Actually switched our priority on him to receiver. Right. So we're looking at. I think it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. And speaking of receiver, I do want to ask you about this. Carson Beck and that receiving core is going to have their hands full. And the reason why I say that is because they have Chris Abrams-Drain. And if you're not familiar with him, I think you need to that's a name that you really need to pay attention to. DB for them. Dude is a really, really good defensive back, right? Brought their DBs from last year back, right? And that's one of them right there. 4 picks on the season. So Carson Beck's going to have to play smart football, right? I think he's got to continue that. And obviously you need guys to win their one-on-ones and go from there, I think. Here we go. Here's a good one. Here we go. So a damn beast media says, eye discipline will be huge in this game, given Mizzou's different run schemes and Cook's ability to hurt you on the hoof. Yeah, they do a lot of eye candy stuff. Kobe, I think you mentioned the Auburn. It has an eerie feeling that you're going to see a lot of eye candy and a lot of motions. So I think this will be a perfect game to see if we've made those changes and adjustments and grown up. Do y'all agree?
100%. I do think that there's going to be a couple of moments where they're going to try to get players in motion to kind of determine the level of the defense, meaning the scheme of which we're running, whether if we're running man or if we're of course in zone, and then try to audible at the line to try to make some plays there for their offense.
I mean, I think another thing too is with Brady Cook, right? Like, don't forget that he's actually somewhat kind of sneaky athletic. I think people forget about that. But
have a linebacker playing spy just in case he wants to get exotic outside of the pocket.
I think the big thing is, and maybe this is just ignorance from my part, I don't think that Eli Drinkowitz and their offense is as creative as Hugh Freeze is in my book. I think that, Hugh Freeze and the eye candy he's given you is on a different level than what Eli Drink can kind of bring. Not saying that he won't bring it, not saying that it may not confuse us from time to time. The big thing about eye candy is they're trying to get an indicator for Brady Cook. Are they in man? Are they in zone? Are they bringing pressure? What are they doing? So it kind of helps narrow the field of what's kind of going on for him. I think, like you're saying, you're going to bring pressure. You're going to try to get him off target a little bit. But Tyke Smith, Dalen Everett, Julian Humphrey, those are all guys that are going to have big games this week because they're going to try to run Luther Burden or formation Luther Burden away from Kamari Laster, in my opinion. That's what I would do. I would put Theo Weiss on Kamari Laster's side and, try to lull him to sleep there and put Luther Burden on the opposite DB for as long as possible and away from Tyke Smith as much as possible. I think that would be the
Yeah.
game plan that I would try to be executing.
In the run game, I do want to get your thoughts on Missouri's run game. Right, they've got Cody Schrader at 807 yards rushing so far this season. If you're Missouri, what are your thoughts on how to attack this defense? Right, in my opinion, I think you have to run east-west on this defense because you're not going to run through the middle on them. I just don't see that. Now,
no.
to be fair, Missouri's offensive line is a lot more athletic than what it was last year as well. I think that's something to keep in mind as well, with this in this situation. But I don't know how to feel about it. Right? I think we're going to be able to shut down the run game and try to force them to be one-dimensional. But the problem is Luther Burden and Theo Weiss are really good receivers, and you're going to have a really good game from your defensive backs to be able to hinder that. And I don't even think you slow it down all the way either, by any means. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I'm reading Damn Beast Media. Curious how aggressive Missouri will be on defense. They took some big chances last year and were out over their skis a bit, but it worked. Beck has answers for pressure, explosives await. I think that it's one of those things where they were kind of out over their skis, but it was working and it was flustering us, and we weren't scoring off of the chances they took. I would say that they would be less aggressive this year in Athens, because if you get caught out over your skis in Athens and all of a sudden you're looking up and it's like 17-3 or something because you got a little play happy, ask Florida about playing, kind of over their head a little bit. It's a fairly close game, and all of a sudden you go for it on a 4th and 1. You kind of overthink it instead of punting, playing a little defense, playing a little field position. And all of a sudden you blink, and we've scored 3 times, and you've run 5 plays. That's not the game that you're wanting to play, especially if you're going to play in Athens. I mean, our crowd is already going to be loud. It will eat you alive if kind of like what happened to Dan Mullen in Mississippi State that year. I mean, you roll into town and you let us get up, and it's pretty much you can roll over and die at that point.
Yeah, I definitely think. And also another thing, right, we talk about us having the home field advantage, but Missouri's also one of the heaviest penalized teams as well. So I think Georgia and the fans at this point have a good shot to make life difficult for them. Watching that game last year, it was cold. It was a night game, but they were loud. They were loud for what it was worth too. So don't be surprised. I think Georgia will utilize the momentum in this. I think you have to, right? So not only does Georgia have to bring their A game, the fans have to bring their A game as well. And honestly, I don't see that being any issue. I think this is the biggest game aside from Ole Miss next week after this. So these next 2 games are going to be huge for Georgia fans. Absolutely huge. That's just my thoughts there. Jeff is busting your balls about the CJ Smith play versus Florida. Yeah, I mean, hit that over, baby. Trust it. Trust the process.
I'll wait to see where our pick'ems standings lie here in a minute before I say Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. He might have got you. He might have got you on the checkmate there. Here's another good stat right here. I think this is interesting. 42-4 at home under Kirby Smart. 3 losses came in his first year. That is impressive as shit. Yeah, Kobe, you remember those, don't you? Yeah. Long time since that happened, man. Long time. Just going to leave that there. Yeah, Kobe, you also said that last year's game saw you drink a few too many potent potables. Yeah.
We got a little AM golf with some buddies. Got back to the house after having a beverage or two, and at halftime I was down in more than 1 or 2 because sometimes you can just tell. You can just tell that we don't have an answer. It's kind of like Auburn this year. Like you could just kind of tell that we were going to have to gut it out, and at no point was the switch going to flip where we were going to dominate the game.
Yeah,
and that's a sinking feeling because you're so used to like basically been like, okay, we're down a little bit, but like we're down because of something stupid, kind of like in the Vanderbilt game, like a blown coverage. Like I'm not sweating that we're down 7-0 to Vanderbilt at all.
Yeah, I think looking at last year though, man, I think this game will play out completely different, right? It was interesting though. The thing about it too, a lot of people take away this now. A lot of Georgia fans will take this away. Is you're going to get Georgia's full attention in this game because they beat your ass on the lines of scrimmage last year. They bullied you on offense and defense in the trenches. And I think Kirby's going to preach that. You know Kirby Smart, Kobe. He's going to preach the hell out of this and make life miserable for the offensive and defensive line. That's just my thought. I mean, you probably know this better than I do. So maybe it's something I can ask you to see what you think.
Ask away.
No, I was just saying, I mean, with what happened last year, right, with the guys getting bullied on offense and defense,
Yeah.
I think it's something that, it's one of those things where Kirby's going to challenge them in all the right ways.
Yeah, it's a pride thing. I mean, it's a heat check, if you will, on what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to be remembered by? If you're Kirby, you could sit there and look and say, hey guys, you lost the Joe Moore Award last year to Michigan. Part of the way you played in the game against Missouri could be why. I mean, you looked mediocre at best for a better part of that game. And then, like you're saying, Missouri's had great success in the run game. We're still very prideful that, teams do not run the ball against the University of Georgia, especially in Athens. So, it's one of those things, like, hopefully you're getting TID back. Hopefully, finally somebody, an older guy, Nazir, Zion, kind of has a big game. I think a bunch of those guys had a really big game last week. So it just kind of keep that trend going, be explosive, get to the quarterback, disrupt the quarterback, because, it's so much harder to play that position when you're kind of wondering, like, am I about to get hit? Where am I about to get hit from? Do I feel the pressure kind of closing in on me? Do I need to just throw this ball away? All those questions, like, running through your head are not, is Luther Burden open right now? So I'll be interested. I think the O-line will have a big, big game. I think they'll be out to prove a point.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Definitely see that. I think maybe it's time we do some bold predictions, guys. But I think the run game is about to go off this week.
100%. Yet again, putting Kendall Milton in my starting lineup. Can't wait for it. I think Buddy is really about to truly step into his own. Looking forward to him and Lad McConkey going off.
Yeah, I mean, let's do that. Let's drop a hot prediction. Do y'all have any hot predictions, guys?
So hot prediction. Dominic Lovett leads our wide receiving core in yards.
Okay, fair enough. Kobe, do you got any?
Let's think here. What would be considered hot? Hot prediction. Hot prediction. We are +2 in the turnover margin.
Okay, I like it.
We take the ball away and we protect the ball. I was going to say that Carson Beck maybe throws for 3 touchdowns, but I don't know how hot. That's like right on the borderline of not being hot.
That's almost, yeah. I was going to say. Yeah. Well, this one's hot take. Holy shit! We shut out Missouri. That would be hot. Now I think he's just using that as an example, but that'd be a hot take right there. Good Lord,
that would be flaming hot.
Hold on. If that happens, that's a statement and a half. I don't care what anyone says. That's a statement and a half. But Georgia still ain't played nobody, by the way. So just giving y'all heads up there, Just gonna leave it at there. Guys, let's get into these over-unders, man. Mr. Hightough was fortunate enough to happy enough to give us these over-unders. let's look into these, shall we? All right, week 10, excuse me, over unders. Carson Beck, 26.5 completions. Do you want me to break these down one at a time, or do you want me to read the list and then kind of go back to them?
Let's break them down one at a time. Let's do that.
One at a time? All right, we'll pull it back up one at a time. Carson Beck, 26.5 completions. Over or under?
You know what? I'm going to take the over. Actually, you know what? I'll take 26 and a half.
I'm taking
Actually, no. I'll take the under.
Okay.
I'll take the under.
And you said over, Kobe? I think it's a good game to do it. I mean, over. I'm going to go over as well. I think for what it's worth, I think it's something that can be done, right? I mean, we use a lot of screens anyway, so that counts. I'm curious to see how it goes. I think it'll be closer to what we think because of the fact that I think the run game could get established. But also keep in mind, if we do have an issue running the ball, I think your passing game will see the over hit easily. Next one is Dejon Edwards and Kendall Milton. Over or under 150 combined rushing yards?
Over. For sure.
So just them together?
Yep.
Just those two together.
I'm going to have to say over as well. We were really close this week. They had 141 together, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to go under. And it's because I think we pass the ball enough and we have success passing the ball. Not saying that we don't have success running the ball, but I just think that we have enough success in the passing game to where we get it, especially if we're just looking at those two guys alone. I think it'll be close. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll take that.
Well,
but I think,
like you're saying, it's close because, like, I look at what we did to Florida this past week. We basically threw the ball for 315 and a pair of touchdowns, and then ran the ball for 171 and 3 touchdowns. So I think it really depends also what kind of field we got because, we got some short fields against Florida to kind of, score a couple of those touchdowns without having to really go the length of the field.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because if you it depends on field position, right? Why it's so important. They also have a good, they also have a really good kicker, by the way. So I think there's a chance for them to kick field goals at the very least. But we'll get over that. All right, so next one is Damon Wilson, TID, and Jalen Walker. Over under 1.5 sacks combined.
Over.
Yeah, over. I'm gonna have to ride the over with that too. I think Jalen Walker and TID, when both healthy, kind of proved that they could be some pass rush fiends. And I think Damon Wilson's really coming into his own as well, especially if he gets to be the opposite side of Walker when they rush together. I think that just is going to help the young guy have some chances that maybe more of the focus is on Walker and not Wilson. So I think they're going to get after him, especially with him being so mobile. That those kind of guys always get more sacks because they're trying to run out of trouble and end up running into it.
See, this is what I'm concerned about. I think we get more than 1.5 sacks, but is it coming from those three? If anything, I know Jalen Walker should get one. I think Jalen Walker's been unguardable, and I love that. But my thing is, when you look at guys like Pop Johnson or Smile Mondon, have a decent chance to create havoc in the backfield. But what I'm going to do for this, the sake of it, I'm going to go over as well. I think Jalen Walker and I think TID can create some pressure up front to cause that problem. Jeff also says, look out for Mike Hill as well. Yeah, no, I think Mike Hill could have a game too. But if we're looking at those three, I'm going to go over. But if we're under, again, team-wise, I think we get more than 1.5 sacks. I think we're over as a team, But these three, I'm going to go over as well. I think Jalen could have 2 sacks by himself. If the coverage forces, if they force Brady Cook to hold the ball, we're easily wrapping that up. Just going to leave that there. That's just my thought. Next one is Brady Cook. 0 or half an interception, over or under?
Have they been throwing the ball a lot this year?
Yeah.
Over.
He's only got 3 interceptions on the whole season, though.
They've also haven't played a real good passing defense either, so I'm curious to see how that looks.
Over.
You're in the +2, so I mean, Kobe, I think if you said +2,
I gotta take it over because I think we're gonna get some turnovers.
Yeah, I think
it's only one pick at some point.
Yeah, it's just a pick. Yeah, I think that's
one really bad ball.
Yeah, one bad decision, really. One bad decision. Let's see.
Not even a bad decision. I mean, we can go full Chaz Chambliss on it. It still counts.
Fair. See, my problem is that the turnovers, which we're about to get to in a little bit. I'll keep that, actually. I'll hold off. Ladd McConkey, over, under 80 receiving yards.
So this is where I disagree with Keon about. I think that our man from Missouri has a good week, but I still think the offense runs kind of through Ladd McConkey. I think that's the easy over.
Yeah, I think it's the easy over as well.
I'm gonna go over as well. I'm gonna go over as well. I think it'll be very close to 80, but I think he cracks like 82, 83. But it also wouldn't surprise me if he cracked 100 because Carson Beck has shown that Ladd McConkey, even healthy, will get him into space, right? Like he is. It's not your deep shot. You're not banking on a deep shot. All it's going to take for Ladd McConkey is a 15-yard Dover route, 20-yard crossing route, right? And run in space. And it's going to hit that 80 quick. That's what he did against Florida. I don't see it changing this week. So give me that over. And last but not least, Georgia, half a turnover, over, under.
So, like, we turn the ball over?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because I would have put takeaways.
Gotcha. I'm going to go with we play clean this week.
So you're going under.
Yep.
Keon, do you go under or over? Do we turn the ball over?
I'm going to go over.
I'm gonna go under. I think we have a clean football game. I think we have to make a statement. That's one way to do it. So there you go. There are your over-unders for this week. Can't be mad about that. I think that'll be an interesting situation. But yeah, guys, anything y'all want to talk about with this game? Obviously, it's a big matchup. So, is there anything you feel like we need to talk about?
I think the big thing is just that, it's the kind of game that you have to enjoy, as a fan watching on TV as a lot of things. At the beginning of the year, there's a lot of bitching and moaning and complaining about from not only the outside, but the inside as well. Oh, this, Oklahoma got canceled. We don't have a good game. We don't have any good home games. Our schedule sucks. It's like, buckle the hell up because you've got some big games in the next 3 weeks. And it's one of those times that, you got to enjoy the fact that I looked a second ago, we're 16-point favorites in this game.
That's
not
crazy.
Not saying that means a fucking hill of beans, but at some point we're higher favorited in this game than Ohio State is at Rutgers. and we're playing the number 12 team in the country.
Yeah.
So, like, just to put that in perspective, I mean, that's just nuts. That's how much respect that the country has for you at the point of, like, you are a good team. It is unbelievably hard to play here. Like you're saying, we've lost 4 games under Kirby Smart and only 1 since 2016. I mean, it just isn't an easy place to play, and it's partially due to the fans, but it's also partially due to Kirby and the staff and showing up in big games. I mean, I've said it here. If I said it once, 100 times, when the lights turn on and all eyes are on you, that man Kirby Paul Smart brings a team that's ready to play.
Yeah,
Sure.
Harry brings up a really good point. Missouri drew the worst time to face the Dogs. I mean, so the national feel to this has that eerily similar feel to Tennessee, just a little bit different, right? Tennessee got number 1 in the CFP rankings or whatever, and then just got their shit pushed in, right? Full attention on it, felt disrespected. You know, obviously we feel how we feel about the rankings last night, but at the same time, that's going to give Kirby a reason to motivate these guys, man. You know this. We all know this. So, yeah, I think what's going to happen is you go out there, you play laser focus, and you force the playoff committee to put you at number 1. And if you don't, and they keep Ohio State there, you just keep fueling the fire for Georgia. And honestly, the longer you stay at number 2, in my opinion, the better for Georgia and the worse it is for everyone else, because you're just getting the wrath of Georgia every time. It's just how it goes. I mean, it's perfectly it's a perfect representation of what happened last year. I think the same shit happens this year. So
I'm with Harry. I think it's a good call that, you know, this is not the time of year you want to be playing us. I mean, you know, basically you had your wake-up game against Kentucky.
I agree with you 100%. This isn't the time of the year. You have a Georgia team that's more locked in than what they've ever been throughout the entire course of the season. You, just like I've said, as the season goes on, the healthier we will be and the more damaging we're going to be to teams. This is where the death march begins.
did y'all see, speaking on these rankings, did y'all see the comparison graphic? I saw this on Twitter. There was a comparison graphic for each of the top 4 teams. You had Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and Florida State. And I saw it, and what it was basically one doesn't look like the other, by the way. And what it was you had Ohio State and their graphic from the official account, right? The official football Twitter account, coming in at number 1, right? Work still left to do all this shit, right? You got Michigan coming in at number 3, right? Blah, 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 blah. Florida State coming in at number 4. But what stuck out was Georgia just posted a Bloody Tuesday graphic, not even mentioned in the playoff committee, like not even mentioned in the rankings, just Bloody Tuesday. I thought that was perfect representation of how things look. I mean, did y'all see that? Keon, you probably did.
Yeah, I did. And it really just set the tone of why we're the back-to-back national champions. While everybody's debating on where they fell in the rankings, what are our guys doing? They outside hitting on something. Better never rest. Kirby Smart gave you that line, and he's making sure that the Dogs know it and they're living by it.
I mean, it's at this point in time, it's just Kobe, Bloody Tuesday in November and into early December. What is that like at this time of year, man? During the season, what is that like?
You're hurting. I mean, it's brutal stuff. When the cold gets out and you're cold and you're getting hit, and typically this time of year it's tough because you kind of run into Florida. You know, you used to run into Auburn. You run into a lot of teams that run power and counter, a lot of pulling guards, a lot of, you know, stuff like that. Back when I played, you're getting like this week or next week probably, you would like slowly start installing Georgia Tech. So
Ooh, glad you ain't got to worry about that option no more.
You're cutting, you're backside cutting linebackers, all these things. It's a tough little stretch out there. Not gonna lie, but it just gets you ready. It gets you mentally ready, physically ready, obviously. But it's one of those things that Kirby really hangs his hat on. That you hear him say it all the time. These guys don't practice the way we do. We practice harder than most of the games we play. And that's an emphasis that he's going to be putting on this game, is that this week of practice is going to be harder than the game should be on Saturday for us at this
point. Speaking of practice, guys, did y'all hear about Brock Bowers at practice? This dude is super fucking human, man. He's like a cyborg. Oh,
what
my
happened?
God. Dude, I mean, it sounds like he's able, like, doing straight line stuff. But I heard it clocked in at 20.5 miles an hour. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, what? Obviously, with that type of injury, you got to keep in mind, though, right? Straight line's a lot different than, like, planting and cutting and stuff. So I just want to keep that in mind and preface that. But I saw that. I was like, no fucking way. It's like, wow.
Just want to say the Dallas Mavericks and the Texas Rangers won on the same day. The Rangers have officially won their first World Series. Shout outs to the DF Dub.
And good for them.
And the Mavericks won. Shout outs to my Mavs. Yes,
for
sir.
anyone that likes to keep up with Texas sports, Keon's got you covered. Just leave it there. But
just not the Cowboys. Don't call them.
Yeah, just not. No.
Wait, I thought that was your team. I thought you had that Parsons jersey, man.
No, never. See, this is the thing. I like Texas teams that actually win something.
The Stars. The Stars.
Stars, too. Shout-outs to the Stars. Yeah.
I don't even watch hockey. I just like to watch the fights if they happen.
Oh, man, they're amazing. Somebody got their throat cut out there in Europe.
Oh, that shit. Yeah, that shit was nasty. We ain't going to talk about that, though. That's just, We'll hold off on that. Back to football, though. I think it's going to get interesting here. I want to see. Let's do this. Let's make our predictions for player of the game. And do y'all want to do one or two?
I'm going to do two.
Do two? Okay. Kobe, I'm assuming you're doing two. You can do one or two. Don't matter, however you want to do it.
I'll go last. Kobe.
You go last. First. Kobe goes first. Okay.
I mean, you go the way your quarterback goes. Carson Beck, cool cucumber under pressure. We've already talked about Missouri's going to, disguise and hide some blitzes and some coverages. I think the man just keeps rolling. I think Carson Beck has a huge game, a much better game than even, this was kind of one of Stitt's biggest blemishes last year was this game. He looked human. He looked like he made some errors, kind of got ahead of him a little bit. So I think Carson kind of keeps it rolling, keeps it just collected, keeps us on track, on schedule, if you will. I think that you could go a lot of different ways on the defense. I think it's somewhere between, Tyke Smith to, Dalen Everett / Julian Humphrey. It's kind of really whoever is consistently lining up on Luther Burden. And I just, at this point, don't believe it's going to be Kamari Laster. I think if I was Missouri, I would be doing anything in my power to keep him from being on Luther Burden.
If I'm Missouri, I'm trying to get Javon Bullard in mismatches if possible, just because of the speed, right? Just the pure speed difference. But that's just me.
So I'm going with the quarterback, and I'll go collective, the DB room. You can kind of pick. I just think that all of them are going to have to play really well and sound football. And you're going to have to communicate and switch off when you're in man, and you're going to have to do your job when you're in zone.
Passing guys off is going to be key.
That's how to gotten us beat a couple times this year.
Mm-hmm. Starks got beat that one time. That was surprising. I think that may have been last year though with the Ringo situation. But either way, I think for me, I'm going to be trying to use some. I think Carson Beck would be the guy, but I'm going to try to use somebody different. Oh man, I think Lad McConkey. I think Lad McConkey is going to be that guy that you've got to try to force him to stop. I guess my question is, how does Missouri plan to stop Lad McConkey or slow him down per se? Right? I think that'll be interesting. Does Abrams Drain get put on him, or does he stay out and play against the Rosemy / Rah or what? Right? So I'm going Lad McConkey. I think Lad McConkey will have a good time. I think that's the case here. But on defense, I'm going Tyke Smith and solely Tyke Smith. Not only from the passing game, but you got to be able to come in and support the run too. Overall, got to have a great A game.
So for me, I would actually give it to Carson Beck for our offense. I think he's going to have to be wheeling and dealing come Saturday. Yet again, we're setting guys up like Lad McConkey, Dominic Lovett, Rara. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how he plays. I mean, he's been balling out leading up to this point, so I would only expect it to continue. Defense, do agree with you. I do think it's going to be Tyke. I think he's really going to make his presence be known in this game.
Any honorable mentions? I think if I had to choose an honorable mention, Dejon Edwards.
Yeah.
Dejon Edwards on offense. Jalen Walker on defense. But I think my thing is, and you could honestly go with MJJ as well. You're going to have to be able to set the edge, but understand when to pass rush you.
100%. I agree with those.
That's just honorable mentions. Y'all got any other honorable mentions?
I mean, you kind of took mine. I'm not gonna lie, but Kamari Lassiter,
the whole team.
Yeah, I think Kamari Lassiter. This is going to be a big game for him.
Well, I think another thing too, and I want to see y'all's thoughts on this. Where is this the game that Kendall Milton goes off with physical run style?
I have him on my fantasy team, so I'm always rooting for the guy. This might be it. He just comes in and just runs through a motherfucker's face.
The one prop that I was surprised we didn't see on the under overs this week. No talks about our tight ends this week. No talks about Oscar Delp, Lawson Lucky. Are they going to get more involved? I mean, the first pass to Oscar Delp was very Brock Bowers-esque, the little high pass that he's catching, kind of running towards the sideline. And then really the second pass he caught was even more the way we use him. Motion him across the formation, have him basically in a foot race against a linebacker to a point at the first down marker. And he does beautifully. I mean, he's plenty fast.
One hand snag. Get up there and get it. Oscar Delp
off the wheel route, right?
Like you're saying, at some point, I think, like you're saying, if they have a really good DB that maybe try to limit McConkey, I still think we have a tight end, if not two tight ends, that can still take advantage of, the mismatches in the passing game. I think that this could be a big week for Oscar Delp or Lawson Lucky or both, because at some point, if they're bringing a lot of pressure, we know Beck definitely has a tendency to be looking for a check down more. Who better than to have a big bodied tight end, 6'5" guy, kind of in that check down range for you to throw the ball to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got you. I think it'll be interesting to see how we utilize those guys too. I think you have to get them guys involved. I think you're going to need that kind of balance. I think we got the recipe, right? The blueprint to how to operate the offense without Bowers. I think you saw what we did, right? You had one guy step up, but you also had guys coming through making clutch plays, right? Dom Lovett in space was a brilliant thing to see. You know what I mean? So, we obviously didn't even call out Dom, right? We made the prediction that Dom would lead the team in receiving, but we didn't call him as our player prediction, right? But either way, I expect it. I think he's going to take this game personal. I think he will. I definitely think that could be this type of situation where he takes it personal. But you don't want to get caught in the moment either, though, right? Like you don't want to let it fog your play really. But I think you'll be okay. Let's see. Any final thoughts on this preview before we get into our picks of the week?
No,
George better beat that ass. Guys, let's jump into our second sponsor of the night. Y'all know who they are. Alumni Hall, baby.
Woo!
Yeah, no other way to put it than get yourself geared up on game days, right? All your tailgating stuff, all your apparel, licensed apparel, by the way. DGDpodcast.com, and then go to sponsors, Alumni Hall. Shop the website, right? Shop the website, support the show, actually. And then at the same time, if you're in Athens, go in store, mention the DGD podcast, and get 10% off your order. They got all your Nike, your Cutter and Buck, your Peter Millar's, you name it, they've got it. Go check them out at Alumni Hall UGA on Twitter and Instagram. And thank you for sponsoring the show, Alumni Hall. Absolutely. Guys, it is time. You ready for this, Kobe? Close your eyes. You ready for this? Yep. We have a new leader with the points. Yeah, we all went 7-3, by the way, all went 7-3 on our picks. The one thing that Juan got picked off was going for UNC as the lock of the week. Kobe, you got bit before.
Back-to-back weeks on the UNC bite. Eesh.
Ain't that fun to see? Keon, you made a move, sir, going up 63, 6 points back. I'm 2 points back from Juan, 4 points from Kobe. And yeah. So Keon, you did make some ground up, but at the same time, everyone else balanced out as well. But I'm not going to discredit that for you, sir. I thought that was a good pickup. Good week for you, sir. It was really definitely. Good week. Really good week.
Looking to put another one together.
Hopefully so. We'll see.
You need what you really need, like we're saying, is a big upset pick or two to hit, and that's when you start gaining that momentum.
Yeah. Yep. No doubt about that. Well, first, hold on. I saw a good comment here. Harry says the fight in Elias could land a couple haymakers, but succumb to the full body attack by UGA. Yes, absolutely. And excuse me, Randy or A Damn Beast Media says dogs have too many weapons to bracket. I expect they do some work on Saturday. Oh yeah, 100%. Well, you've got a fan, dude. Walla is a fan, Keon. Well, you got a groupie.
Yeah, appreciate you.
What the fuck is this? I'm not even mad. Hold on. Here we go. Missouri is 37th in total defense, while Georgia's 8th. 30th in total offense, to Georgia being 4th. Well-stacked pizza companies calling dogs to cover easily, 45-17. Like it. I like it. Yes, absolutely. Guys, let's start these picks, man. Let's get into it. First things first, the Yard Pimp Classic, I call it. The Jacksonville State versus South Carolina, both Gamecocks, by the way. Hence the Yard Pimp Classic. Guys, y'all ready for this? It's easy, right? Pretty easy, fair across the board. Psych. That's the wrong number. I got Jacksonville State in an upset.
Yeah, see, this is how I make up ground.
I don't think you understand. South Carolina's fucking trash. They are fucking trash.
Both of the Gamecocks are trash.
I wouldn't say that, dude. Hell nah. Jacksonville State 7-2.
Jacksonville State has a 5-star playing offensive line for them. They're going to Mr. Clay Webb.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Lose. Ain't even mad about that. I got them picking the upset.
Okay.
Everyone else going South Carolina. South Carolina hasn't shown me shit to prove why I should pick them right now. I don't care who the fuck the opponent is.
Neither is Duke, but guess what?
Duke's got a better record than goddamn South Carolina by far. So, good luck.
Double isn't by far.
Yeah, it is.
Two.
Dude,
It's only
South Carolina's a 2-win team. They're fucking terrible.
How many wins does Duke have?
I think 4. Still, don't care. That's 4.
I think Duke has 5, right? They're 5 and 3.
4 or 5. Yeah,
I think they're 5 and 3.
yeah.
Just to come to a little bit of a little assistance.
Suck it, Trebek. Look at this. My guy Harry's with me here. Jacksonville State has speed, deception, and gumption, but no size.
Yep, right there. That he's with you, but he's not. The no size part means.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck. I'm gonna listen. I gotta make ground. That's one way to try to do it. It's gonna leave that there.
Yeah, no, it's over with. It's over with. Those two, him and Juan, are winning this, and me and you are just battling to see who's the worst. That's just where we are at the
Sorry,
season.
I'm not. No, you're 6 points behind me. Good luck.
No, I was only like 4.
Well, here we go. Arkansas taking on Florida in the swamp. This is arguably a huge mid-off right here.
This is a huge
can't
game.
wait.
If you're a Florida fan, you best be sweating.
You could be bowl eligible.
You got to win it to be bowl eligible because
Yeah.
you play at LSU, you play Florida State, and you play maybe Mizzou. I mean, you legitimately play 3 more games that you probably are going to lose. If you don't beat Arky, you're staring at starting the season 5-2 and ending the year 5-7.
Yeah, that's rough. Thank you for bringing that up, Kobe. But in the meantime, everybody picking Gators, man. Sam Pittman, Kobe.
I wanted to real bad. I want you to know that I looked at this one for way longer than any sane person should have.
I understand. I understand the love for Sam Pittman. But they can't score, dude. They can't score.
Listen, all I'm saying is my man Kirby Jr. down there has been getting his defense ran through like freaking Swiss cheese.
Like leaning the plug.
They lose Shamar for the year.
Yeah.
Man. By the way, that sucks to hear, though, too. I forgot about that. Happened earlier today, too.
Update for anybody watching that doesn't know. Shamar James.
Yeah, Shamar James, yeah.
Yeah. So if you watched the Florida game last week, you'll remember in pregame, they were showing the field. They show Shamar go down, and he's injured. Puts on a pretty big brace. Could not have missed it if you watched the game because it's pretty much all the announcers talked about for the first, 15 minutes of the game. But he actually dislocated his kneecap and had to have surgery and will be out for the remainder of the year for Florida.
He'll be back for spring training or spring camp, I heard. That's when they're looking at that shit.
Smooth recovery to him.
Hey, way to go. Way to go, Jacksonville. Way to go.
All right.
Fuck yourself.
Trying to sit there. Home.
Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all don't hold on. Y'all don't want to hear it from me, do y'all?
Go fuck yourself.
Just for you, Jacksonville City. Just for you. I'm never going to wish injury on anybody, but that stadium, that field looked absolutely fucking horrible. And now Florida has to suffer that because Shamar was actually one of their better players on defense too.
Yeah. Honestly.
So I'm riding with the masses to keep the crown, but I'm not going to lie. If we all miss this one, I will not lose.
I ain't losing sleep. Nope.
Not
losing a bit of sleep on it. No, not 100%. In all seriousness though, prayers to Shamar and hopefully recovery goes well on that. I know obviously we hate the Gators, but I'm not gonna be that classless and hit you while you're injured. I can't do it. Next matchup, guys. Kentucky, Mississippi State. Interesting matchup. I think this is an interesting style matchup here.
I don't think it is. I think we should all agree on this. I think we should all be in unison. And if anybody disagrees, you should definitely be eligible to lose 4 points off of this because there's no way we should disagree. Let's pull it up. All right, so Brigade, let's talk to y'all directly. All right. To everybody that's in the comment section, just would like to know what the hell do y'all believe is finna happen on Saturday?
You need to actually ask the folks on Twitter.
That's
You know,
nuts.
R.I.P. Mike Leach. If he
For
was
real.
still coaching, my pick would have been completely different. But given the state of Mississippi State football and the way they've looked this year, I just have to believe that if anything else, Kentucky is going to be able to go in and run the ball.
Yeah.
But Ray Davis would have a field day against that. But I think Devin Leary got comfortable. I mean, he's not the greatest, but he's looked a lot better over the past couple weeks, in my opinion. So
yeah, no, I do think he's going to improve.
Yeah. I mean, Barry
yeah.
and Brown could have a nice field day too. Sorry,
Yeah.
hey, shout out to Rylan Goody. Hope you have a good day against Kentucky, man. I really do.
What's the next one?
This is interesting. A&M and Ole Miss.
All right.
This one, I think this needs to be noted that Well Stacked Pizza said A&M has the sixth best defense. Watch out for an Ole Miss upset. Ooh, he's calling a shot, saying that the upset is taking place.
Airball.
Boom. Everyone's got now. Listen, this is going to be a make or break moment right here because Well Stacked Pizza could clip this and come back on Monday and put it and shove it in our faces and say, haha, I told you so. You're fucking dumb.
Okay.
Now, I'm saying I think Ole Miss just has too much firepower on offense, and A&M just doesn't have the offense. I think Ole Miss can get enough stops defensively.
There lies the key into my pick. Has nothing to do with how good Texas A&M's defense is. Has nothing to do with how good Ole Miss offense is. It's purely the fact that I don't believe Texas A&M can score enough to win.
No. Ole Miss is going to beat the piss out of Texas A&M.
It sets up for a nice.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but
it sets up for a nice top 10 matchup in Athens next week. After that, though,
yeah. I think they will struggle to score consistently. I think that Texas A&M is going to take away at least.
I think they get to Jackson Dart, but the problem is Jackson Dart can run. Jackson Dart can run the ball.
Judkins. I think they're going to try to make Dart beat them. Problem is, I think Dart can.
Yeah, I think the pass rush is nice, but at the same time, you can eliminate that with a mobile quarterback, and Jackson Dart's proven he can run the ball.
Going to need some turnovers, and going to need to score probably big havoc plays to score.
I think Evan Stewart could go off though.
He's kind of had a quiet sophomore year.
Anaya Smith probably be the bigger name to go to, I guess, but I think Evan Stewart quietly could go off on that game.
Keep an eye on Anaya Smith with a special teams score. That would be a big swing.
Oh boy, yeah,
I think this is going to be one of those ones where Texas A&M's defense is going to try to make Jackson Dart play with his left hand behind his back, but the problem is they forgot that he's right-handed. So it's not going to
– I think Ole Miss wins that game, though.
Yeah, me too.
Next matchup.
This one that we should all agree.
This game looked a lot better in the preseason.
It sure did, but guess what? We should all agree. We should all be in unison.
Hold on. You got to understand something. Tyler from Spartanburg just set off Dabo Swinney to a level that we haven't seen in quite some time. I think it could be closer than what we think. But with that being said, Notre Dame on the road handles Clemson. Listen, Cade Klubnik, preseason, I thought he was going to be just fine. I thought he was going to be one of the better quarterbacks in not only the ACC, but arguably the country. That was proven to be a goddamn lie. Dude is no bueno.
Well, I can tell you this for one of my fantasy teams.
He bakes because he's doing turnovers, lots of them.
For one of my fantasy teams, I have Notre Dame's defense, so I just need that to be a defensive defensive game.
I see what you're saying.
Always just a weird game. Notre Dame's only favored by 3. It's at Clemson. Kind of a hard place to win, but I think Sam Hartman and Notre Dame is just going to be too much. I think Clemson anytime all of a sudden you look up and you think you should be winning the ACC, and you look up and you're 4-4, there are some questions that need to be answered within the locker room, and that's where it gets tough. Is the players are kind of sitting around going, we're not used to not winning 10 to 12 to 13 games. We're going to have to fight just to be bowl eligible at this point at 4-4.
Because they still got some good matchups left too. They got North Carolina. They got some matchups. I think Notre Dame handles this one fairly easily, though. I think they could generate more turnovers, cost them the game, more call-in show, heck, antics. Watch it coming. It's going to come. Next matchup, guys. I think this is going to be more interesting than people think, but Kansas State taking on Texas. Kansas State, I think, wouldn't surprise me if they do win, but everyone here picks the Longhorns.
Yep, because I'm from Texas.
Bitch, I'm from Texas. Oh, is that right?
We still riding swingers and put diamonds in our necklace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that's how we do it. Yep. Zero and Trey, baby. What's up?
No, that's Big X to plug.
No. I'm just talking about zero and
Oh,
Trey.
okay. I'm with you.
I know who that was, but not Zero and Trey's my dog. Like Southside Groovin', yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir. Kobe, why are you shaking your head, man?
You don't know them songs.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the matchup.
That's just a bunch of military partying guys. Sorry. Next matchup. I think this is tricky, but you got Washington going to LA and taking on USC. The reason why I say this is interesting is because USC's already lost back-to-back, but Washington has looked like a complete bag of mid the past couple games. So it gets tricky.
Yeah, it's like they gave Oregon all they had, and then they've just been like coasting through it.
Sputtering through. Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. It's going to be interesting, but here's what we got, guys. I picked the Trojans.
Oh.
If it gets into I think so. And I think the reason why I say that is because I think Caleb Williams is too good to let a slump continue. It's time for him to have that moment again, right? Like Penix is good, don't get me wrong, but also keep in mind, Penix also looked like he hobbled off the field last week, looked like with some ribs and shit. See how much that plays into part. Okay. USC doesn't have a defense. I understand. This game's you're going to see a ton of points. But I think if you get into a shootout, I got to go Caleb Williams over Penix just slightly because it's at home. Just because it's at home. Everyone else, I'm sure y'all probably look. I mean, Washington has a better defense, right? Because they actually have something. They have 11 players on the field that actually want to play defense. That's all you got to do to beat USC defensively. I'm just going with the upset. See what happens.
Agreed.
You guys want to hear something disgusting?
But I think Washington wins.
If USC wins, they will be leading the pack.
That's disgusting. Disgusting.
They will be leading the pack.
Well, they still got to play Oregon too.
They do. But I'm just saying.
But at that moment,
against Washington for 1 week, they will be leading the pack.
Oh, that's like saying that's literally like saying Florida would be leading the SEC.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Let's see. Let me look again. So right now, Washington is 5-0 in conference. USC is 5-1, and then Oregon is 4-1. So then it would make Washington 5-1 with USC having the tiebreaker, and Washington having the tiebreaker over Oregon. But it could be messy because then at that point, if Oregon beat USC, I guess Oregon would be leading. I don't know. That would get messy because then Oregon and Washington would both have one loss in the pack, but Washington would have beat Oregon head-to-head. So I guess Washington still is leading at that point. Let's put it this way. Let's just hope Washington wins.
Right. Let's keep it simple.
I'm here for the agent of chaos. Guys, this next matchup. This is going to suck to watch this game leave, but Bedlam, Oklahoma State, Bedlam, one last time. Guys, I genuinely don't understand why they can't continue this rivalry, but it sounds like, was it Oklahoma not wanting to play Oklahoma State? I don't know, but
the problem is, the only thing I will say, the problem with that is for now is like they're going to want to make the transition into getting into the SEC, and they're going to want to see how that goes. And if it's going good, then they may pick up Oklahoma State again.
Oklahoma's ran that rivalry though.
No doubt. But I'm just saying at some point, you're going to kind of want to see how you're doing in the SEC before you just randomly call another Power 5 school and go, hey, let's play every year.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, it's just interesting because Oklahoma State fans are pissed the fuck off that they're trying to, because it's just like.
Which is hilarious because, like, do they have 15 wins in this rivalry all time?
It's a good question. I don't know. But now I will say this, though. For what it's worth, Oklahoma coming off of a loss, right? Putting Kansas up in the rankings. Oklahoma State, if you don't remember to start the year off, they got their tails beat by South Alabama. You remember that? It feels like forever. Now, at the same time, they righted the ship. Now they're ranked as well. They are one of the teams that are extremely hot right now. Extremely hot right now. But here's what we got. Brigade, myself going Oklahoma State at home with an upset. Oklahoma for Juan, Keon, and Kobe.
As a person that lives less than 3 hours away from either campus, yeah, Oklahoma usually smacks the hell out of them. That's just what this is.
Keon. I mean, you're really looking at and rooting against Robert this week because right now you're doing a good job of you're following the leaders and letting Robert try to make up the ground.
Yeah.
And if it works out for Robert, don't get me wrong. If you pick up 3 extra picks this week, I mean, you're definitely going to pick up some ground. But if you drop 3 to Keon, it's a long stumble.
Yeah.
Fair. I just think ultimately that, man, Oklahoma State has looked fairly good. Oklahoma, though, I listen, when they're on, but like, how do they respond is the question.
I can't trust that mullet man as far as I can throw him.
Yeah.
But hold on, though. You say that, yet when you turn to Swolders, you could throw him across the mountain. So which one is it?
Yeah, but Gundy, the fact that he is even still working there probably is a miracle. But I don't know. I can't count on him. And I think Dylan Gabriel and the boys are too much for him.
Yep. We'll see. I will see. I'll probably end up biting the bullet on that, but so be it. LSU, Alabama. Boy, what kind of stakes this has for playoff implications, SEC West implications, and for Georgia specifically, too. Guys, this is going to be a slobber knocker.
Yeah, let's see how this turns out because I'm prepared to change my pick right here because I forgot what I picked.
Boom, Kobe and the Brigade going solo with LSU.
Oh, no. Give me LSU.
Someone in the Brigade confirm Keon to LSU, please. Just type in confirm.
I had an Alabama fan tell me right before this pod, actually, that they're going to lose. So, and this is one of the most cockiest Alabama fans I know. A long time friend of mine. He's like, yeah, no, bro, we're losing this game. And I'm like, oh, wow.
Walla confirmed for you, so your pick is now LSU.
Yep.
This worked for us in the past, Keon.
It sure did.
Flip-flopping before.
Now, I will say this, though.
Wait. Quick question. Is Alabama favored?
Yes, by 3.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my upset of the week.
I think I
That's my
just.
upset of the week.
God damn, man. I take all this time to put these graphics together, and then Keon want to change them on the last fucking minute while we live.
To be fair, sometimes
I want
it's
y'all
just
to-
that gut feeling.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that gut feeling.
I want y'all to understand that.
Let me look real quick. Let me make sure before he says that. But I think I'm right.
I just want to let y'all know.
What the hell is this game? Here it is.
Yeah.
3 o'clock or 3 points. 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
I've been drinking.
A Chick-fil-A cup. Nah, man, listen. I spend all this time, all this effort, man, sweat and tears into creating these graphics for the show. And Keon comes in every damn week and makes a change after he already confirmed with me what he was picking. Bro,
Sometimes it's
like,
a gut
damn.
feeling. Sometimes
Man,
it's a gut feeling.
You be changing last minute.
You know, guts happen. That happens. Sometimes you find 1 minute and then you know.
Come on, man.
There's World War III in the stomach.
Yeah, Harry says he likes LSU in this. Wallace says big weekend coming up. Robert Warney, welcome into the chat, says some people don't realize how good Missouri is and has been. Interesting. I think Georgia fans are probably the one fan base that's respected Missouri more than anyone this year.
Honestly.
I mean, I think you've got our full attention. Missouri's going to have our full attention, and that could be good or bad. Mostly bad.
For them.
Yeah, for them.
Got to throw that in there, you know.
Yeah, listen, if whoever wins this matchup between LSU and Alabama will more than likely be playing the winner of the East in Atlanta.
Us.
See, there you go. So I think it'll be a good game though. But I think you got a really historic offense versus a solid ass defense. I think their defense has gotten significantly better. I just think that in games like this, what happens when their offense stops? Their defense is not good. Not good.
Is Caden Proctor starting?
I don't know. Dude, I don't keep up with Bama like that. Probably.
Oh, he is? Yeah. LSU by 10.
Who's gonna rush the passer for them?
Well, you can put your best pass rusher.
Who the fuck have they got? They had Perkins.
I think they put you on Caden Proctor, and I think you get home at least once.
Oh, I'm working him. There's no way around it. I'm hitting swim moves, stutter steps. Okay. You be thinking I'm 1-2 stepping at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, no, I think this will be a good matchup, though. I think this will be a really good game. Think about it. LSU, it came down to a 2-point conversion in overtime last year in Death Valley to win that game.
Alabama's offense was significantly better in that game, though.
They also didn't. Let's see if they give up penalties, because they gave up a fuck ton of penalties too in that game as well. But we'll see. Last matchup, Missouri and Georgia. Guys, I think this one's cut and dry. We're going to leave it as is, as always. Dogs on top. Now, the question there lies, guys. What is your score prediction?
A lot to a little.
Fair point.
I think that covers it.
What's your score, though, sir? You got to have me a
quantitative. If you want me to put numbers together, I'll say 45-17.
Oof. I'm gonna go 49-28.
That's worse than what I said.
But the problem is they're going to score more than 17 points, in my opinion. If they don't, we've utterly obliterated them.
I think they're going to do some weird shit. Like, he's a fan of going for 2 and all that stuff to, like, go up early. Like, let's see. Let me give him a glance one more time. They have consistently scored right around between 30 to 38 points in every game they've played all year. Better defense. I'm with you. I'm thinking like 45-24, something like that. Score 3 touchdowns and kick a field goal.
It was close.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
42-24, 45-24, somewhere right in that range. I don't think like I see Walla Walla put 34 for them. I'm just like glancing it over. Like they scored 30 against Kansas State. They scored 34 against Memphis. They scored 39 against LSU, 34 against South Carolina, 38 against Kentucky. I just think our defense is a little bit better than all of those teams. So I think if you look at like Kentucky, we're probably a 10-point better defense than Kentucky's defense. So at that point, I'm kind of floating more around the 28-ish range.
Yeah, because you don't know what will happen in garbage time either if it comes to that.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I think it's going to be hard because the points are going to be skewed. First, they love to go for it, and second, they got Legatron back there, like 55-plus yard.
The thicker kicker's going to hit some points.
Wallace saying he was talking about LSU Bama. That would be an interesting score for LSU Bama if Bama scored 34. I mean, that's going to be kind of a shootout there for a little bit.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. So we've all hit our points score predictions there. So we'll see how this goes. Locks of the week. Don't change this, Keon, but Michigan over
No, I'm rolling with it.
Finally, God almighty. Kobe, you've got Tulane over ECU. ECU is a terrible team this year, unfortunately.
They're horrible.
Shout out Ryan Stevens. Man, receiver out for ECU. Juan has Florida State over Pitt. I have Oregon over Cal. I think all those are fair. No UNC, no problem, right, guys?
Well, as long as you don't have Duke in there, you should be great.
I forget.
Hell, your fucking Tar Heels just lost.
Who did I lose week 1 on my lock? It was somebody.
I got the graphic. I'll pull it up later.
It's okay.
I'll tell you.
It doesn't matter. I was just trying to think. Basically, me and Juan have both lost on UNC, and then I lost on one early that was just a load of shit.
Something like that, yeah. All right, upsets of the week. Keon, someone confirm LSU over Bama for Keon again.
Thank you.
God damn,
appreciate
dude.
it.
Next, we're gonna have to make a rule that you stick with what you give me. This is ridiculous. You had NC State over Miami, which I think that would have been an interesting game.
I think I'm glad you changed it.
Me too. See, that's the thing. He didn't want me to change it because he didn't want my answers to get better.
No,
he doesn't want me to catch up. That's it. I understand it, Rob.
I don't give a damn what you do. Just don't make me make a graphic and then change it up.
Could be worse. You could have picked the nerds.
Right, could have.
Oh, like Kobe did. Kobe, watch out. Virginia was the one that took them out though, man. Took out UNC, picked you off.
Yep. I'm riding with my boys though.
Buster
Faulkner and the boys are gonna.
Well, Scyther's going off for them too. Scyther's going off. Juan sticking with his annual or weekly Stanford upset. Almost hit him twice back to back. By the way, keep in mind Ashton going the hell off. Got Washington State. I think he has a decent shot at this one. I do.
I would be very interested to hear from Juan. Obviously, this would be like an off-stream thing, but I wonder if the degree at Stanford would be more important to like. I feel like his son's having a good enough year that like
somebody could come calling.
Oh, brother, somebody could for sure come calling.
Juan, we're gonna have to have private discussions potentially.
Crazy.
Oh, he's going off. Going off.
Let me check the statistics for all you at home.
Ooh, I too like to live dangerously. While Kobe pulls that up, I've got Kansas over Iowa State, and I find it baffling to me that Kansas is a underdog in this matchup against a horrible Iowa State team.
Kansas, they at home?
No, they're on the road, and it's a 1.5 point underdog. I don't understand the logic on how they're. I don't get it. I really don't. But if you've given me a 1.5 point underdog for Kansas, sign me up. Because they just knocked down Oklahoma. I think they can knock off Iowa State. Just leaving it there. You find anything, sir?
He's thrown for 1,600 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 3 picks so far. But to be fair, he hasn't played in every game either.
They've been rotating quarterback. Yeah, they had a rotation to start too. So
first couple of games. We'll see.
So, okay, so Walla confirmed your LSU pick, Keon.
Appreciate you, Walla.
Your groupies helping you out all the time.
Go Tigers for today or Saturday.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
He barely played at all against USC or Oregon.
Beat Colorado, by the way. That was still the best comeback I've seen all year, by the way.
Watch that live. When the man's playing in the game, he's throwing touchdowns and he's throwing
rushing for him. He's running for him too.
He's running for or throwing for 250 plus.
Yeah, check his rushing touchdowns.
Rushing. Yes, 2. Mm-hmm. He had them both against. He had a freaking crazy game against Washington.
Yeah, he had a good game against Washington. Colorado obviously coming back from 29-0 to win that game.
Walked their ass down.
Yeah,
good job. Good.
I think it was 396, 4 touchdowns, no picks.
Yeah, buddy, he went crazy.
And 16 rushing attempts for 40 on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
We'll be seeing
their other quarterback though, for what it's worth, and I know y'all are wondering why we're talking Stanford of all teams. Ashton is Juan's son. If for anybody that's listening or viewing and doesn't understand, so we kind of have this, I guess you could say, like gravitation towards Stanford right now. So
got to enjoy them before they're in the ACC.
Well, dude, I was telling Juan, I was like, if y'all come to if the ACC schedule come out. Before that, I was like, dude, if they come to Winston-Salem, we're gonna have some discussions.
All right.
We're gonna have some discussions. But ironically, they do play Wake in Cali though. And I was like, damn it. They do come to Raleigh though, by the way. So that'll be interesting.
Oh, okay.
Juan will have to make a stop off of 85.
Yes, sir.
East Coast Wings.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Let's see. So I think that's all of our picks. Let's see. Any final thoughts, guys?
This is the week that I truly gained ground. And once LSU beats Bama, I'm losing my shit entirely.
He would actually get close to coming back like that.
I think I would legit be a point behind you.
Arguably, yes.
Behind him.
Yeah, no, him.
Okay.
Shut up.
I'll just make sure.
This guy's the worst.
I would be interested to see though, how many picks do y'all have different? Was I right on 3?
I believe so. I had Jacksonville State.
Yep. So that's 1.
I had Jacksonville State. The LSU game flipped.
2.
What was it?
You picked Oklahoma State.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, that's it. I think that was 3. That was a 3.
I think the gap between me and you is honestly 4 points. Like, honestly.
You really need LSU because that's a 3-point swing right alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, for him. Yeah.
Either way, really.
Well, depends. If Bama wins, you don't get the point. And you don't get your upset points. But if Kansas wins, then I get my 2 on top of Bama winning. We'll see how Bedlam goes. We'll see how the Yard Pimp Classic goes.
Is the Yard Pimp Classic a weeknight game?
I don't even know. Don't really care. Probably won't even watch it.
It'd be that just feels like a Thursday night thriller.
Yeah, like a Thursday at 8 or 7:30.
Duke does play Wake Forest at 7:30 on Thursday.
It's in Durham though, right?
Talk about trash teams.
It is in Durham. Texas Tech. I almost snatched this one as the upset. Texas Tech plays TCU, and Texas Tech is favored by a whole 3 points.
No, really? I'm taking TCU. They swapped out their quarterback. Don't know how to say this.
Are you gonna change LSU to TCU now?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying in that situation.
Good.
I mean,
Jesus.
South Carolina's favored by 17 in their game. by the way.
And UNC was favored by more than that, more than likely.
Oh, I'm no doubt. I'm just saying, like, that's a lot of points to give a 2-5 ball club.
I saw that.
Yeah, I did too.
Hit that Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh man! Any final thoughts before we wrap this up, guys? I didn't realize we went well over.
Yeah, we just kind of keep talking, and Walla never tells us it's time to go. We need to tell Walla to like be an alarm clock for us.
As soon as the show starts, set the timer.
No. Dave Chappelle, wrap it up.
Move it on, fellas. Move it on.
Oh my God. Oh no. Oh man.
Slow down, baby.
Michigan, get
here's your sign.
You're still now.
I have a legitimate question for both of you, Walla, anybody else that's still watching this at this moment. What do you think is a legitimate punishment that may be handed out in the sign stealing scandal?
If you're the NCAA?
No, the NCAA isn't doing anything. It's all about the Big Ten at this point.
Whoever. What do you think is a legitimate punishment that may come out of this?
You know what? The problem is I don't want to commit to anything right now because something daily comes out.
Right.
Like just today.
Brother, did you see the fact that he may have been on the Central Michigan sideline
with with the Ray-Ban?
There is no may have been. That's him.
That is nuts. It's like,
here's the worst part is the fact that if all of this wouldn't have been drawn up, that would have went completely unknown. Buddy's hiding in plain sight. All he did was throw on a.
No, he wasn't. Did you watch the video? There was a clip of them doing a rollout to the Central Michigan sideline, and there was a video of him just scrambling around, panicking, trying to make sure the TV didn't get to him, bumping into people, bumping into shit. Like,
I guess my thing is, and maybe it's different at Central Michigan. If there was somebody dressed in coach's gear on our sideline, like, someone would realize. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like, I guess all the coaches are all close enough.
Well, the problem is McElwain, I think is his name now. He's up there at Central Michigan. Dude, he worked with Stallions. His son worked with Stallions. You don't know him?
Maybe he's in on it.
But first off, even if that's the case, why the fuck do you need to watch Michigan State signals? Why?
That was funny.
They ain't even got a coach. That son stealing guy. Stuttering his way through that. Dude. Oh my God.
Nah, he did that shit. He for sure did that shit.
The Raiders opened up, man. Watch out for Harbaugh. Red-eye flight to Las Vegas.
No. They're gonna roll with Antonio Pierce. Shout out.
They're trying to expedite. Sounds like they're trying to expedite his contract. Harbaugh of Michigan is.
Yeah, I've heard mixed. I've heard mixed things with that. I've heard that they've stalled contract negotiations, but I've also heard that there's been nothing really to make of that. I'm with Walla. I would love to see, if you really want to bring the hammer down, a postseason ban. But
they're not going to do that.
Well, I just worry it takes too long. I mean, to say they're not going to do that, I mean, they basically gave Ohio State a postseason ban over paying for players' tattoos. Yeah, I don't think there's any limit to what the NCAA may or may not do. But the problem is I worry it's going to take 18 months.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Knowing the NCAA, it might take them 10 years like Baylor and the rapist shit.
Yeah.
That was fucking ridiculous, too, by the way. No, give them the death penalty. Fuck Michigan, what they stand for. Hold on. Think about this. Do you realize how stupid you got to be, or just blatantly not caring, not giving a shit, to be going on to other teams and like on their sideline sharpieing in a Nike? Like, think about that, man.
I don't lifetime ban for Stallions.
Like, that is. I don't buy the fact that he did this rogue. I don't think he went rogue. People know about that. People know because he's.
Of course, people know. You've seen the pictures of him having the signal.
No. I'm just saying. So
the DC going. This is the signal.
Well, that's the thing, though. So that means that the coaching staff was compliant and they knew what was going on. So the fact that you can't sit there and say that, oh, he just did this on his own free will.
Best case scenario for Michigan is Harbaugh has the ability to go, that was all the DC. That DC is crazy. Whatever.
But the ultimate responsibility falls on you, though, man. That's another thing I don't really care for is people leaving and not getting any responsibility. Like, goddamn, who was it? Urban Meyer does this, but at the same time, it was Lincoln Riley, wasn't it? I think it was. Always leaving teams in a scandal before they leave and go somewhere else. I think it was that.
There was somebody recently that did that.
Petrino.
I agree with you.
Freeze with Ole Miss.
Yeah, but he kind of got the can. Oh, I know who it is recently. Arizona State. State self-imposed some kind of postseason ban for something that happened like 4 years ago. And people are like, how's that fair? You got a new head coach, pretty much have a brand new team at that point, and you're self-imposing this? Like, give me a break.
Yeah, no, that's enough talk on Michigan. They're guilty. I don't care what they say.
I just think it's going to be super interesting. They're guilty. I love that the rabbit hole just continues to get deeper. It's hilarious.
Josh Pate opening up the rabbit hole even more, and I thank him for that.
The fact that people are now saying that Michigan may have helped South Carolina upset Clemson and Tennessee, hilarious. Hilarious if it's true. Hilarious if that it's probably not true, and it's like a new coping mechanism to go, oh, South Carolina's paying for signals. That's why they beat Hendon Hooker.
Oh, the best part about it was, they tried to steal our shit, and they got their shit pushed in. So,
which is why I say don't ban them for the postseason. I want to play them in the Natty. That three-peat is secured. We are beating the dog shit out of the Wolverines.
Last question, guys. Last question before we got to sing up. We were going on for a long time.
We finna make them fuckers bark.
How do you think Michigan fans felt when they saw that we were 2, they were 3, knowing that there's a potential that they could end up playing us?
Well, if you didn't cheat, you would have been number 1. And you got caught. You fucking suck.
I think the big thing is, maybe to no fault of your own to some extent, just because of how top heavy the Big Ten is. They haven't played the meat of their schedule yet. They still have to play at Penn State. They still have to play Ohio State. I think Walla or, someone earlier, they haven't played a team inside the top 50.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Really bad.
They've been playing the students of the blind.
Most of their teams were like bottom 100, like past the hundreds.
Yeah.
But that's. I'll go look them up. Is anyone interested?
Yeah, I would definitely like to see it because yet again they've been playing students of the blind and dudes of the deaf. Like this is.
I heard they played the Little Giants in week 2. Is that true?
Probably.
The problem is the Little Giants didn't win though, unfortunately. Yeah, but either let's see. People saying they would be number 1 without the scandal.
They played East Carolina, who could be the worst team in all of college football this year. They beat them 30-3, and then they beat UNLV 35-7. Then they rolled in with a powerhouse in Bowling Green and beat them 31-6.
Wait. Rutgers. Don't forget that Bowling Green. JJ threw 3 picks. Go ahead.
Then they played Rutgers 31-7. Then they finally kind of have a bigger game. They play Nebraska, who's absolute garbage. They win that 45-7. That's the first time they kind of start scoring. Beat Minnesota, beat PJ Fleck, and just with a bunch of boat paddles for a little while. 52-10. Hammer Indiana, 52-7. Hammer Michigan State, 49-0.
They stole everyone's signs too, so it doesn't matter.
I would be interested.
Sounds like a national championship team to me.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. We got to beat Georgia somehow.
Right. And if you ain't spying, you is crying.
Oh, shit, man. Oh, shit. Guys, let's wrap this up, man. Listen, thanks everybody for tuning in. If you like what you heard, like, follow, subscribe. It's all free, and it does so much to the show you don't even understand. Also,
if you didn't like what you heard, still subscribe, like, and then leave in the comments what you didn't like about what you heard.
First, wait. Time out. Okay. If you didn't like any of this, go fuck yourself. One.
Now that's how you manage business, guys.
I want you to take your opinion, write it on a small piece of paper, roll it up, and shove it up your
anal sphincter for all you that care. Your groupies is following suit, Keon. God almighty. Walla, you change your name. Change your name to Groupie of Keon or Keon Groupie or something. So simple enough.
We're out here. I'll go fuck myself now. All right.
Oh,
this
man.
It's been a great show. Oh, shit.
I think Keon just shed a tear. Like,
oh, I just cried.
All right, Jim.
Yeah. Listening again, like, comment, or like, subscribe, guys. It's all free. Follow us. Also, if you're listening on podcasts, leave us a review. Let us know. Just be honest, please. We'll take the honesty. I'll take
Hell
it.
no, you better lie to me. This better be great.
Keon's used to it. The New York Giants have been doing it to him for years.
Oh, man, yeah, you better lie to me and tell me this is the greatest thing
lie to me
that you ever heard.
All right, so if you're listening, or if you give us a review on Apple or Spotify, wherever, leave 5 stars and just whisper sweet nothings into Keon's ear, please.
That's all I need.
I'll let him read it. I'll let him read it.
I get by with a little help from my friends. All right, let's wrap this up.
Let's get this thing off, man. Let's go.
Dogs on top.
Yep. Catch y'all back Monday. We will see y'all Monday. Go Dogs.
Dogs on top.